Listening. Are you, what's your ethnicity if you don't mind me asking? Puerto Rican. On both sides, your mom and your dad? Your dad? Have you ever heard that Puerto Ricans are Israelites from the tribe of Ephraim?
That's right, huh?
So we're out here teaching that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we come from the nation of Israel, God's chosen people. So understanding that we are God's chosen people and the position that we've been put in now to where we've been subjugated by our oppressors, God let this happen to us because we disobeyed our God. Do you have any children? Okay, so with your children, if they disobey you, you're going to discipline them, right? So it's the same thing that God did with his children, right? Because everyone, we don't see them getting disciplined the way we've got disciplined, right? We've seen the Spanish colonizers that came over here and colonized your people, and the British colonizers and French colonizers that came over here and conquered black people. We see that they've gotten away with hell, gotten away with murder, gotten away with genocide for the last 500 years, right? Putting us through hell.
Ecclesiasticus 17 verse 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage.
Right, so he gave us the law of life for an heritage. So our true heritage, right, because we grow up thinking that we're just Puerto Rican and thinking we're just black and subscribe to ideologies that have been pushed on us by our oppressors, by our slave masters, we begin thinking that this is just our heritage. This is all we are. We're just products of slavery. But we have a heritage that God gave us, and that's what we read about in the Torah, in the first 5 books of the Bible. So I'm going to give you a few laws that you can keep today, starting to turn your life around today. And this is the law that God gave us. This is our heritage. Start with Leviticus 11:7.
Leviticus 11:7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof.
You know what swine is? Dealing with pig? All right, so the swine, go ahead.
Though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
God said that the pig, the swine, is unclean to us. Go ahead.
Of their flesh ye shall not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch.
So their flesh, we can't eat swine. We're not supposed to be eating bacon. We're not supposed to be eating chorizo. We're not supposed to be eating pork chops. So are you willing to give up swine for God? Yeah, all praises. Let's get Leviticus 19, dealing with tattoos. Do you have any tattoos? Yeah. Do you plan on getting more tattoos? No? All praises. Because that's another law of God that we have to keep, where we don't get tattoos, we don't mark our body. That's 19 and like 20, yeah, 27.
No. Send a different translation that says tattoos.
I don't care if it's just tattoos. This says don't print no markings on it. It's fine.
Leviticus 19 and 28. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh.
Right, so nor print any marks upon you. Again, we're not supposed to be getting tattoos. That's the law of God. Right, he made our skin beautiful for a reason. We don't have to go mark it up.
That part.
Right, let's get 1919 dealing with gossip too.
Leviticus.
Wait, real quick. So, and this is a law that would change our entire community overnight, because something that plagues our community is gossip, and gossip leads to, a lot of times it can lead to death, because people start talking about stuff that's not supposed to be talked about, personal matters, and that leads to violence in our community, and that violence leads to more violence in our community. And a lot of it would just stop if we just stop running our mouth, stop gossiping, right? So this is the law of God that we're not supposed to gossip in our community as well, right?
Leviticus 19 and 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people.
Right, so a talebearer, that's what it's dealing with when it's talking about, or gossiping, that's what it's dealing with when it's talking about a talebearer. We're not supposed to go around our people, and if this brother tells me something that's personal to him, I don't go to this brother and say, oh yeah, he was telling me about this. Right, because again, that's what I said, a lot of this plagues our community. Keep going.
Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor, I am Yahweh.
Right, neither shall we stand against the blood of our neighbor. So when we see our people in trouble, we see one of our people's lives are in danger, we're supposed to step in and prevent that life from being taken. So did you see that viral video of George Floyd being killed? No? Do you know who George Floyd is? So a few years ago in like 2020, there was a black man that was being arrested in Minneapolis. Is it Minneapolis or Minneapolis? Yeah. Minneapolis? So there was a black man that was being arrested in Minneapolis by a white officer. And the officer, he had already handcuffed him, but he was kneeling on the back of his neck, and the dude kept screaming out that he couldn't breathe and that he was crying for his mom, and he ended up dying. And there was a bunch of black people around him just recording him. Those people were standing against the blood of their neighbor. They were sinning against God at that moment. They're supposed to step in, and even if they go to jail, if they got to sit down for a little bit of time, or even if they end up getting killed, the Bible says that there's no greater love that you can show for your friend than laying down your life. So that's how we have to look at each other as one and stop thinking so individual and nothing concerns me, because if that was my personal brother, my personal father, or my children, I would want someone else to step in like that for me. Keep going.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt anywise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Right, so rebuking your neighbor and not suffering sin upon you. So like you said, you have tattoos and you don't plan to get any more, but a lot of people, I know some people who we've told them not to get tattoos. I know one person in particular who we've told not to get tattoos, and they said, I'm gonna go get one more and then I'll stop. So again, us telling people that it's a sin, that's us rebuking our neighbor, that's showing true love and not suffering sin upon them, because they're no longer walking in ignorance.
That's right.
Keep going.
Thou shalt not avenge nor any grudge against the children of thy people.
Right, so again, dealing with avenging. So now in a lot of our communities too, if someone kills my brother, then I gotta go get it back in blood, like we got songs about. We talk about going and killing our own people that also killed our own people. And again, that's just what keeps the cycle going, this vicious cycle of just constant bloodshed in our communities. Keep on, is there more on that? Yeah.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Right, love your neighbor as yourself. What they say, the golden rule, treat people as you want to be treated. Right, but that law is dealing with us in our own community. Because a lot of times we look out for other people, other nations. We're willing to help white people and Asian people and anybody else before we help each other. Right, so again, we gotta help ourselves first, and then we can worry about everybody else. So again, I gave you 3 laws. We read a little bit more than that, but 3 laws that you can start keeping tonight. No more pork. You say you're not gonna get any more tattoos, and then no gossiping in our community. You think you can start keeping those for the rest of your life? All praises. And then you got that flyer. So again, you can tap in with us, and let's get 1 John 5:3. You can tap in with us, learn more laws. There's a link at the bottom where you can go in your own time. In your own time, you can go and look at those videos that are on that link on YouTube, and whenever you want, you can just learn about more laws. There's a channel on one of those links that every Saturday they go into law. They go into the Torah and they break down laws for people. So whenever you want to just keep learning and keep building, you can tap into that information. Let's read this real quick. I got one more verse for you and then I'll let you go.
1 John 5:3 in the NLT.
Bring it out.
Loving God means keeping his commandments.
Loving God means keeping his commandments, right? And it's that simple. Go ahead.
And his commandments are not burdensome.
They're not burdensome. Everything that we read for you tonight, does it sound like something that's hard to do? Not at all, right? But again, the Christian church will make it seem like it's just impossible to love your people and love God, as Christ said. Right? It's that simple. So again, all praises that you adhere to that information, and Lord willing, plan on keeping that.